Hey, my friends, how you doing? Here's another, I'm going to call it easy, but a simple Lego assessment method that you can use. And this one combines not just hands-on learning and building, but also a way to infuse some literacy and some writing in the assessment. So, a generic template such as this, I call it build what you know. And this could be whatever it is that you need to gather insight on of what the students actually know. So it could be a concept that you give them an actual prompt that's a concept from the standard you're trying to assess. Maybe it's a event or an actual like specific piece of content, whether that's the American Revolution or it's how neurons and work within the body. It could be anything, a model of Congress. You pick what it is that you want them to know, or maybe something you've been studying. You just want to be like, what have they been processing? And you give them time to build. I like to give them private reasoning time in this case. And so when I run this in workshops, I give teachers 90 seconds just to think, not touch the Lego, just process, think through, sketch some ideas on paper. How can they build it based on the Lego pieces that are available, that kind of thing. And then we dive and we give them time to do the build. Now in your classroom, you can give them as much time as you need. You know the ebb and flow of your room. Now, from there, here's what I like to do. I would send them over to, in my case, we use a Google Slide. You could do this in PowerPoint or Sway or a OneNote, whatever it is that you use for your method. But I'm going to demo just in Google Slides because this is what the majority of schools use that I work with. And what you would do is you would have them load up a picture of their build. Now you can do this one of two ways. And so what we can do here is if I wanted to insert a picture in Google Slides, I could have them take a picture and then upload it from their computer. But the other thing is you can go right here to camera, and you're probably going to see me, which I apologize. All right. All right, so what you can have them do is get their build laid out. I have them on a piece of white paper. I don't know if you can see that very well or not there. And you can just insert your picture using the camera that's on your device to insert it right away. So I'm going to go ahead and take this picture. And then we're going to go ahead and just insert that picture. You see it there off to the side. We're going to insert it. And there it is. Now, a couple things that can happen, which I didn't do. I could go one way now. Here's the build, and down here in the speaker notes is this is the explanation. This is where the kids have to do their writing, and then you could assess their thought process behind the build. That's one way if you want cohesiveness and paragraphs and maybe some more complete thought, and you're working on some of those literacy standards, they could write it down here. The other thing that I've seen people do is you could have them load this image up, and then they have to go through and explain, and they could use different types of shapes. All right, so I could go call outs here, and this is like my little robot guy, and I could have this labeled here, and I could have him explain it. I could label the different parts of the builds, like why did I put a blue arm here? Maybe my pink feet mean this, and then they could go through and label it that way. The last way that's even maybe a little bit easier in terms of tech is before I load this picture up into the Google Slide, on this white piece of paper that my build is on, they could handwrite. So they could draw arrows and they could explain and label everything in the build. And then from there, they can load it into the Google Slide. And then if everybody shares their slide, you now have a whole class resource. One, you can get your assessment, but two, kids have this whole collection of ideas and learning and different model builds for them to benefit from. Now, people have asked before, like, could I go back and use Flipgrid and have them load up the picture and explain? Absolutely. You could use Wakelet. The tools are really irrelevant. I'm just showing you an example of how you could capture the learning. So you give them build time. You have to have them explain and justify their builds. So that's where you come in with your comfort and your flow of your classroom, whether they're labeling with shapes right here, whether they're actually writing with a pen or pencil on the paper, then taking a picture, whether they're going to go more robust down here in the show notes. This is all for you to consider how you want it to be captured. The biggest beauty I see in this, say you did this and you have 25 slides for your 25 students, when you share that out in your newsletter to parents, it's awesome. You can remove the names, you can make a copy and remove the names for privacy and all that. And I just think, man, what an awesome way for parents to see a small glimpse of a classroom, see that their kids are excited, see the innovation that comes with it, and also see how purposeful play, hands-on learning applies to standards, because you could have that justified on the first slide. All right, guys, here's just one more way to weave in some literacy, some writing, some speaking to our assessments, and you can knock out those literacy standards with your content standards through a Lego build, all through documenting their thought process behind it. What you're going to be amazed with in this is looking at a build that may not look too fancy, but being completely blown away by the thought of why they put the pieces where they did. I've done this in workshops with educators, and you will walk around a room and you will see some very simple builds, some complex builds, and some of those simple ones are the most impressive because of the thinking that went into it. All right, my guys, I look forward to seeing your ideas, your builds, your thoughts, your questions and concerns. And until next time, as always, please stay awesome.